As bold as lions. As bold as lions.
As bold as lions.
As bold as lions.
You're listening to the As Bold as Lions podcast.
Welcome to the As Bold as Lions podcast. My name is Derek Johnson, and I am your host for the next few minutes as we dig in a little bit together, talking about things that are encouraging, inspiring, and equipping for our walk in Jesus Christ, our Christian faith. That is what the mission, the vision of As Bold as Lions has been, and just the verse from Proverbs. Digging into my phone here, Proverbs 28. Is it 28? I should know this, you guys. 28 verse 1, but the godly are as bold as lions. That's where the name As Bold as Lions comes from, that in the Lord we take on that boldness. We have that assuredness in our faith to speak boldly and to live on purpose and on mission for the Lord, and with our faith in Jesus Christ, the gospel message being what we talk about and what we proclaim, especially in a world that needs to hear and know the truth and the love and the grace and the mercy that Jesus offers those who trust in Him. So, invite you to share this with a friend if it's something that blesses you. Maybe not this episode, maybe another episode, something that's just encouraged you. Go ahead and pass it along. That just kind of gives other people a chance to listen to it. If you're on a platform like Apple Podcasts or I'm not sure all of them, but some of them allow you to go in and leave a rating or leave a comment, something like that. That also just helps kind of give this a little bit more noticeability, visibility, however you want to say it. I don't even know if noticeability is a word, but visibility to other people that may be looking for some sort of a faith-based Christian type of podcast to listen to. Today, wrapping up just some one-off episodes, kind of episodes that aren't attached to a certain series, but are some things to just kind of finish up the month of August and put out there to maybe catch people that either listen to the podcast solely or get my blog, but don't listen to the podcast, vice versa, whatever. I do a monthly blog, and so these last few podcasts have been basically taking that script, that blog, and just reading through it, talking through it, making that the podcast episode. So today is the blog that we'll post for September. And as this comes out in the last Monday of August, it's even hitting a little bit before the blog itself publishes. But it is about platforms, and we're talking about the platform you have. No, we're not talking about shoes or a platform itself, but kind of the influence, the position you have, especially as it relates to other people and people that maybe pay attention to your life or follow you. Social media, a big term is followers. How many followers do you have? Well, if you have followers, then you have kind of a social media platform, but it doesn't have to be that. I started out this blog when I wrote it, and I want to start out with these lyrics from a song called What If I Stumble, and it's by DC Talk. Not the whole song, but just these first few lines from, I think it's for the very first verse. Starts out saying, "Is this one for the people? Is this one for the Lord? Or do I simply serenade for things I must afford. Great song, the Jesus Freak album. If I can take you all the way back to that, I was in my high school days when that album came out, but probably one of the most groundbreaking types of Christian music, CCM albums. I'm reminiscing here, but that song was on that album. And it was kind of like this struggle of like, what if I mess up in front of everybody and I stumble? What if I do something that causes other people to lose their faith in Jesus or go down the wrong path or whatever? And it's great because I don't see a lot of songs that speak to that anymore. And even these guys that were in DC Talk, they've all the three main guys have kind of gone their own ways, and they still come together and do stuff, but gone down different paths. I just leave it at that. And just thinking about taking them back to this song, I'm taking them back, taking myself back, taking anybody these words and saying, yeah, what if we stumble? What if we kind of mess up and don't get it right with the Lord? Anyway, good song to go back and listen to if you can find it, YouTube, Spotify, wherever, and just kind of think about those lyrics. I've just kind of tying that in, I've had some opportunities in the last month to play and perform some of my own songs. Been able to go out and do some shows at the beginning of August, some things back in the summer, earlier as well. Have a few more things that are kind of coming to finish up. And it's always kind of a busy time of year as I get the opportunity to do several things, especially around my hometown and area I grew up in, northern Minnesota. Seems like God keeps giving me some opportunities there, and also some other places that I've lived or just have the ability to connect to some people, and always kind of just praying through where God would open doors and want me to go. But as I've been doing some of that, just sharing my songs, sharing worship, just have found that there's sort of this tension that can be there. It's kind of just a constant background thing between doing something that I certainly love and enjoy, and kind of getting the rewards and the benefits and some of the praise even of doing that, or doing something that's simply just an act of worship to the Lord and just an offering to Him. And in the tension of all that, honestly, I hope it's always first an act of worship, that before anything I do, it's giving this platform to the Lord. It's giving this stage, this time before people to Him, and even the time before and after, just saying, God, this is all for you. But, the process of being a Christian artist, which is a title that I embrace because I don't have a problem with that. I know some people don't like to put the word in front of artist. Are you a Christian plumber? Are you a Christian teacher? You whatever? But I consider myself to be a Christian artist, and I guess I can reconcile that in my own mind without any problems. But my struggle is, how do I then make it always about the Lord? And then from there, anything else is just added blessings and byproducts that are bonus on top of getting to do that. And that's my hope. That's where I want things to go. But in reality, they don't always go that way. So today, I want this subject about platforms. It's easy to see a platform as the person on stage. It's the pastor, the speaker, the artist, the author, the worship team, whatever. That's, they have a platform, or the social media thing, talked about that. That person has a platform, influencers, whatever. But I want us to consider that platforms are bigger than that and bigger in scope than that. Not saying that the size of the platform, because we can get into that too, but the platform, the idea itself, is something that's more pervasive, maybe that's the right word, I don't know. It's more than just thinking about it one-dimensionally as this is what it means to have a platform. That really we all have one when we consider our lives, when we consider the interactions we have, the sphere of influence that you have. Social media feed, somebody sees you, follows your stuff, whatever. You have a platform. You have an opportunity to share something. Somebody else is going to see it, maybe comment, maybe like it, maybe dislike it, whatever. The businesses that we have, the places we work in, the schools, those things all being platforms and opportunities that we have, and you have a reputation in those places. Like the people you work with, they have a certain, they have a certain opinion about you. The people you go to school with, you have a standing amongst these people. And, to get us to think of this idea of platform as more than just a certain size, certain shape, it can look individualized to what we do on a regular basis. So small or large, all of us have one. So what I hope to do today is to say, how do we use this for the glory of God? All of this. Some of it may seem a little bit more directed to those who are physically on a stage, and that's certainly something to take into consideration, but a lot of it is not. And you may never have the opportunity to take a stage, so to speak, to be on this place where you're looked at and you're doing something in front of people. And that's fine. But a lot of this is more in general terms as it applies to our lives and the ones that we do affect. And as we get started today, I just had some kind of just one-liner thoughts or questions that, as I was kind of coming through this time where I was doing a lot of shows, interacting with a lot of people, and you get a certain response on and off the stage, that I just kind of internalized and wrote down, but wanted to use it as I was thinking through all this. These were some of the statements or questions that I have. First one is just the allure of a stage can be deceiving. Second one's a question. The rest of these are questions. Is this done under my power or God's? Will it be my glory or His? Is this my ministry or His? So just all some thoughts that I have, questions that I have that I think apply here as we're going through this topic. And considering as I influence people, as I kind of get that opportunity to speak into people's lives, whatever that looks like, how do I keep giving that back to the Lord and not just kind of internalizing it or making more about me than I should through all those things? And again, I don't want to say that this is just my own, for my own benefit because I wrestle with this, because I think at the end of the day, a lot of people do wrestle with this. A lot of people that little bit of pride that we can get over something, which I think is just Satan whispering in our ears, like, hey, you are kind of a big deal. You kind of are, something special, and that we can kind of allow that to grow and to get too big and a little unmanageable over time if we don't keep that in check, no matter who we're talking to, no matter what setting we're in. So this is a little bit more of just quicker points today, a little bit more rapid fire, but I'm going to go through. There's actually 5 totals here. And let's consider this as we talk about what our platforms are. The first point is having a platform comes with a price. Luke 14:33. So therefore, any one of you who does not renounce all that he has cannot be my disciple. That's Jesus talking to his followers. And he is there laying out the cost of being a disciple. I think his goal is to get them to think about a little bit more about the end point, not just the start, not just the great reminder that, hey, I'm a follower of Jesus Christ, and to kind of just wear that as a badge of honor and just think I'm a big deal because of that. He's saying, what will it cost you to follow me? And when we receive a call from the Lord, it's a holy calling and something that must not be taken lightly. We give back anything that we receive. We give it back to Him in worship. And when we realize we have a platform in which we get to proclaim His truth, we understand just how humbling this is, because we're not perfect. And He's using us to advance His kingdom, to proclaim His gospel, and He's using these imperfect, flawed, messed up individuals like you and I in order to bring people to Himself. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. He is perfect, though. And we put aside our own glory, our own fame, our own accolades, and even our own reputation in order to serve the kingdom and what benefits Him the most. Second point, many want a bigger platform but are not ready for it. Philippians 2 verse 3, do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. So we're in this age of instant gratification, social media, the world at our fingertips, and people posting things on social media sites like YouTube or TikTok. And a lot of these people just getting views and likes and shares and even building whole, I don't know what you want to call it, just their whole brand off of this thing. Different people. And I know a lot more about it because my kids are into it, and the try to filter what they watch through YouTube or this thing or that thing and make sure things are above board. But there are a lot of people that just have grown their whole base off of these platforms because people watch it and come back to it. It's like watching a sitcom. You come back for it because you enjoy it. And I think it's easy to kind of get enamored with that, and at the same time, kind of jealous because you're like, well, that can't be that hard to just go and throw that, record something on your phone and throw that out there. Why is that so special? But I think what social media has done is it's given us just the highlight reels. It's given us everybody's good side, their best side. Here's all the amazing things that are my life. But for those of us in Christ, to be a follower of Christ and an influencer at any level, we're not seeking the stage for the stage itself. We're not seeking the channel on YouTube for the likes, shares, comments, subscribers, views, whatever itself. That's great if it comes, if we're ministering and He's blessing it and is going forth, great. But that's not our end goal in doing any of this. Because we can realize that stuff is here today, but it's gone tomorrow. If we're just after the fleeting desires of culture and the prevailing winds, this is going to be popular today, and then tomorrow it's going to be something else, and your 15 minutes of fame are over. So we have to be more grounded, and we have to not seek the platform because the platform itself is something we want. Many, I don't think, get what they're seeking because they're not ready for it. They can't take all that comes with it, and God's in a way just trying to keep them from letting their lives be ruined by something that they think they need or want, or if I just had this, my life would be complete. And God's saying, if you had that, your life would be a mess. So I'm not going to give that to you because it's not good for you. It would ruin you. And so I think of of people, even in music, that I've seen that were here 3, 4, 5 years ago, and they're not really doing much anymore because of whatever reason. Some may have fizzled out because of that chasing after the carrot and the fame. And so that's just a reminder for us just to make sure we're not just about getting to that point in our lives, to think that everything's complete when we attain some level, some goal. May we continually seek the glory of the Lord with any of the amount of influence that He's given us, that we'd be grateful for whatever level we come to. Third point is to be the same person behind closed doors as you are in front of others. Proverbs 10 verse 9, whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but he who makes his way crooked will be found out. And this whole point can be summed up in one word. It was in that verse, the word integrity. It's getting harder and harder to find this even in Christian circles, that people are seeking kind of that quick route to the top and to somehow fast track their lives so that they get to that point. And, even though it may be kind of hard to fake it around some folks, especially see this in ministry, it's hard to deceive everyone, or to even, ultimately deceive the Lord. You can't. Our true hearts and our true motives come through at some point. We want the best for our lives. We want to succeed, and we all have that natural longing. But sometimes that means we step on or over others to get to that place that we want. We may get sucked into just putting others down, or gossip or slander. And I think in our pride, we forget that Jesus, the Son of Man, He came into this world. He took this lowly form of a servant. He washed feet. He demonstrated just how humble we are to be, and just seeking others above ourselves. And that's the type of heart that God looks for and is willing to reward. And integrity is something that must mark us as Christians, that God will bring the reward. He will bring the increase in His timing and in the form that He desires. But again, He's concerned with this condition of our hearts. Are our motives pure? As we go through all this, as we talk about this, what are the motives of our hearts? Fourth point is to return glory back to where it is due. Psalm 30 verse 12, O Lord my God, I will give thanks to you forever. Just an attitude of gratitude, a heart that is praising the Lord, thankful to the Lord, giving the glory back to Him. And this is kind of one of the things that I've been trying to do, not always with a lot of success, mind you, but it's to take the words of encouragement, the accolades, kind of the attaboys, pats on the back and things like that, and just bring them back to the Lord, and just kind of as if to say, here, Lord, this is yours. The thank yous, the whatever feedback, getting after playing a show or interacting with people, to say, God, really, this belongs to you. It's not for me. Because I know myself. I know that it's easy to get a big ego and get puffed up, and kind of to take in those compliments and start, if I don't funnel them out and back to Him, start to internalize them and think, wow, well, maybe I really am pretty amazing, pretty awesome, and allow that pride to kind of just fester and manifest. And that comes out in all sorts of ways. It's the way you interact with people, the things that you kind of expect from others and stuff. And it's not healthy. God is the source of all that I do. He should get the glory. And that's in the ups and the downs. He gets all of it. And when we return that glory back to Him where it's due, it puts us in our rightful place. It helps kind of diffuse that bomb of pride and of ego. because any sort of platform can mess with us. Anything that we build and then start to get attention on that thing, it can mess with us. And it can get us to think, how can I use this for my own glory? Think of the original fall from heaven and Satan. It was pride. It was a prideful event that led him to get cast out of heaven. And for all of us, we can wrestle with that kind of most, I guess, influential of sins and of temptations that we can have. It all has to go back to the Lord, everything we do, every day, all the time. This final point is just to kind of sum things up, wrap things up, is to say, no matter what the platform is, be willing to be used right where you are. Zechariah 4, verse 10, do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. Do not despise small beginnings. Don't look at something as too small or too beneath you, because there's value in that. There's nothing wrong being used right where you are right now, and not thinking or hoping or even dreaming about something bigger. We don't always have to be like, this is great, but wait till this, that we can just have the mentality of, I'm going to grow where I'm planted. I'm going to take what I've been given and use it right here. The harvest field that's right in front of you, it might just be your kids, it might be your family, your home, it might be your neighbor, it might be a coworker. We don't have to go very far to find someone in our interactions that needs to know the love of Jesus Christ. And I keep coming back to it, but it really is an issue of the hearts. When our hearts are in the place where we're hungry and humble, we know it doesn't matter the size of the platform. It becomes less about numbers and more about just one-on-one daily interactions that we're just having the opportunity to speak into lives and affect people, influence them for the kingdom. And when we come before the Lord with open hands and open heart, willing posture, He's going to move in us. He's going to move through us. And to not get caught up on the shape or the size of that thing, but just to say, I want to be caught up in you, Lord. Whatever you're doing, I want to be there with you, partnering with you in it. So as we close this out, hope that the balance that I'm talking about between a small or large type of setting makes sense here, because it's easy to see the guy on the stage, but to bring that into your life and say, what does that mean? What's my stage that I'm speaking from, and who am I speaking to? What's my audience? We all have someone to minister to, and that is your platform, if you're willing to consider it as such. I know that word might be a little difficult. Maybe you don't want to use that word, and that's fine. Just change it to something else. Who's your circle? What's your tribe? That's a big buzzword lately. Your people. What is that? What does that look like? It's those who you come in contact with and are affected by your words and your actions. Who is most closely affected by those things? I think the way we change the world, it's not so much on this grand scale with huge numbers and sold out stadiums. I think it's through the daily personal touch that we place upon others in our path. And that's the touch of Jesus Christ. I see so many who are looking for answers, and they're looking for hope. You can just see it in their eyes. And they don't know Jesus, at least not yet. But what if they see you or I, and then they have the chance to meet him through us? What an awesome opportunity to minister and show his love and his grace. That is how we can change the world and turn it upside down, one soul at a time. To use your days wisely, as the verse I close with from Ephesians talks about. Use your time wisely, the days are evil. But above all, use your days for the glory, honor, and praise of the Lord. And I just want to bless you guys as you go out and minister to someone today. As you think about this topic and you think about what what can I do today to minister to somebody who needs to know the love of Jesus Christ? And not to focus on, okay, can that be more than that or bigger than that or whatever, but just that one person who I can focus on and say, hey, I want to pray for you. I want to invest in you. My actions are going to speak the love of Jesus to you. As flawed and fallible as I am as a human being, I'm still going to preach Jesus to you through my life, through my words and my actions. And just to do that over and over and over again, that's what this world needs. And if millions of Christians are doing this on a regular basis, think about the change that we can influence and affect in our world. Think about what we can do to just turn it upside down, like I said. As you know this verse, if you're listening every week, this is what we close with. This is the theme verse. Alluded to this already, but Ephesians 5:15-17, realizing that life is short, time is short. We only have so many minutes, so many hours, so many days, so many years, but use them for eternal significance. Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is. Guys, I love you so much. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this. God bless your day. Take care. We'll see you again soon.
Hey guys, this is Derek Charles Johnson. You have been listening to the As Bold as Lions podcast. I am a blogger, a songwriter, an artist, and if you've been encouraged by this podcast, please go ahead and subscribe and share, and head over to DerekCharlesJohnson.com for more encouraging content. God bless.